Hello everybody, my name is Ananya Kantraj. So today I'm here with another video of the topic e-waste management. So let us look into the contents of the e-waste management. So introduction to e-waste management, source of e-waste management, composition of e-waste, need of e-waste management, characteristics of e-waste, toxic materials in electrical and electronic waste, health hazards due to exposure to e-waste, recycling and recovery of e-waste, extraction of coal from e-waste, role of stakeholders in environmental management of e-waste. So, introduction to e-waste management. Electronic waste or e-waste, that is the waste arising from the end of the life electronic products such as computers and mobile phones, is one of the fastest growing waste streams in the world today. So, annual global production of e-waste is estimated to suppress 50 million tons in 2020. So, India is among the top 5 e-waste managing countries in the world with estimated annual production of 2 million tons. So, like some of the other developing countries, e-waste management in India is dominated by the informal sector with estimates of more than 90% of the waste being proceeded in this sector. So e-waste consists of several precious metals, rare earth metals, ferrous and non-ferrous metals, plastic, wood, and glass. Unscientific practices in processing of e-waste are associated with several environmental and health externalities. So what is the source of e-waste? So electronic products used for data processing such as computers, monitors, keyboards, printers, etc. are one of the source of e-waste. Electronic devices used for entertainment such as TVs, LEDs, DVDs, CD players, music players, etc. Equipment or devices used for communication such as phone, landlines, fax machines, etc. Electronic products that are discarded due to the advancement in technology, changes in fashion or style, or end of their usual life. Composition of e-waste. Valuable metals like gold, platinum, silver, and palladium. Useful metals like copper, aluminium, iron, etc. So hazardous substances like radioactive isotopes and mercury. Toxic substances like PCBs and dioxins. Ferrous metals containing iron in its composition are the composition of e-waste. So let us look at the characteristics of e-waste. So first is hazardous components in e-waste, and the second is material composition of e-waste. Hazardous components of e-waste that consists of a large amount of components of various sizes and shapes, some of which contain hazardous components that need to be removed for separate treatment. Material composition of e-waste contains a mixture of various metals, particularly copper, aluminum, and steel, etc. So, what is the need of e-waste management? So, electronic waste is hazardous if deployed awkwardly and can cause harm to the environment and human health. Reclaiming valuable elements from the recycling process can help to decrease the demand of raw materials. So, e-waste management can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and it is critical to keep electronic waste out of the landfills. So, electronic products are comprised of valuable materials such as precious metals like gold, silver, and platinum, along with copper, aluminium, plastic, and glass. So, what are the toxic materials in electrical and electronic wastes? So, it consists of few of the following, which are mentioned here. So, lead, mercury, and other metals, flame retardants and naphthalates, PCB containing capacitors and oils, mercury switches and asbestos, and printed circuit boards and batteries. So, health hazards due to the exposure to e-waste. So, what are the health diseases or the harmful effects of e-waste? We can study here. Fetal loss, prematurity, low birth weight, congenital malformations, abnormal thyroid function, and thyroid development are few of the health hazards which are developed due to the exposure to e-waste. A recycling and recovery of e-waste. So the following are the different approaches to the recycling and recovery of an e-waste. So there are three methods. The first is hydrometallurgical extraction. The second method is pyrometallurgical extraction. And the third is direct recycling. So first, let us look into the hydrometallurgical process. So this method was used to extract valuable metals like copper, gold, and silver from e-waste. It involves the following steps for recovery of metals from e-waste. So it includes further three steps, which are mentioned here, which includes pre-treatment stage, chemical treatment stage, and metal recovery stage. First is pre-treatment stage. So it involves the physical separation of metal components from e-waste. So it involves the dismantling the e-waste into its component parts, such as circuit boards, plastics, and metal parts. And the different parts are then sorted and separated based on the composition. And the metal parts are subjected for grinding to reduce the size and make it easier to extract the metals. The chemical treatment stage. In this stage, the metals are made to leach into solutions using different leaching reagents like cyanide solution, acid solution, base solution, thiosulfate solution, halide solution, etc. In leaching solution, metals are dissolved, then the solution was separated from the solid waste. Third is the metal recovery stage. In this stage, pure metal is recovered from the leached metal solution. So this method like solvent extraction, ion exchange, adsorption, precipitation, electrodeposition are used to recover the metals. And the recovery metal later used in the production of new electronic devices in metal recovery stage. So let us look at the pyrometallurgical process. So in this process, it was used to extract non-ferrous metals like aluminium, copper, and lead from e-waste. Heating and smelting operations are used in this process to recover the metals. It involves the following steps to recovery of metals from e-waste, pre-treatment stage, and metal recovery stage. So first, let us look at the pre-treatment stage. So it involves the physical separation of metal components from the e-waste. It involves the dismantling the e-waste into its component parts such as circuit boards, plastics, and metal parts. And the different parts are then sorted and separated based on their composition. And the metal parts are subjected for grinding to reduce the size and make it easier to extract the metals. So let us look into the metal recovery stage. So in the steps, by using methods like roasting, smelting, combustion, incineration, pyrolysis, the useful metals are recovered from the e-waste. So first is roasting. In this step, e-waste is heated below its melting point in the presence of oxygen for oxidation. So second is the smelting. In this step, e-waste is reduced to metals by heating with carbon at high temperature. It gives extra mixture of metal slurry. So the impurities present in the metal slurry was removed by a thermal process. Then the metals were recovered from the slurry using hydrometallurgical technique. Third is direct recycling. So it's a process that involves the breakdown of electronic devices into their individual components and then recycling those components without the need for the further processing. So it involves the following steps: collection and transportation, disassemble, sorting, and recycling. So let us look into the first method, which is the collection and transportation. So e-waste is collected and transported to a recycling facility. Second is disassembly. Electronic devices are disassembled by hand or by using specialized equipment. This process separates the various components of devices such as plastics, circuit boards, and metals. So third is sorting method. So the separated components are then sorted by a material type. For example, say plastics are separated from metals. Different types of metals are separated from each other. So fourth is recycling method. So the separated materials are then recycled. Example, plastics can be melted down and molded into new products. So let us look into the extraction of gold from e-waste. So it involves the following steps. First is the pre-treatment stage, second is the chemical treatment stage, and third is the metal recovery stage. The first, in the pre-treatment stage, it involves the physical separation of metal components from the e-waste. Techniques used in the gravity separation, electrostatic separation, magnetic separation, etc. Second is chemical treatment stage. It involves the leaching the targeted metal by treating with appropriate chemical reagents. And the cyanide leaching is the most common method used to extract the gold. So when gold containing e-waste treated with the sodium salt of 3-nitrobenzene sulfonic acid with potassium cyanide and in the presence of oxygen, it gives the diacyanurate gold complex. So the reaction is as follows. Role of stakeholders in environmental management of e-waste. So the first comes the producers, second the consumers, third the recyclers, and fourth the statutory bodies. First, producers. The accountability to collect green tax, charging an additional amount on consumer during the sale of e-products and returning it with interest at the time of exchange of e-products. forming the group of manufacturers who monitor the encourage the recycling of e-waste. So bearing the transportation cost and collection fees to ease the collection process, purchase the recycled material at a fixed value and using of recycled e-waste during manufacturing. So giving discount to the consumer on the basis of e-waste generated from the gadget. So, what are the role of consumers? So, the accountability to pay green taxes and develop self-awareness on e-waste management and involve in awareness programs and returning back to e-waste to collection units. So, third comes the recyclers. The accountability of recycling units is dismantling. So, establish the collection units and the group of people who can ensure return back of e-products by the consumer in exchange offer. So collect the e-waste from the collection units, dealer or retailer, providing the incentives when proper collection of e-waste assured by collection units, and recycling the materials from e-waste. Fourth comes the statutory bodies. They are nothing but to collect the green tax from the consumer through the producer. So apply some extra charge on the producers, manufacturing units in the form of penalty when no proper recycling of e-waste is done. So provide the incentives in form of subsidy to recyclers and collectors, and recycling of e-waste is monitored properly. To conduct programs of awareness in the society about the importance of e-waste, recycling and reduction of hazardous substances. Thank you for watching. Stay